I remember the day I decided to leave the countryside as if it were yesterday. The smell of fresh hay, the sound of roosters crowing, and the sight of endless green fields had become suffocating. Each dawn brought with it the same grueling routine, one that had defined the lives of my family for generations. But I longed for something different, something more. "James, you've got to understand that hard work is what keeps this family going," my father, a stern man with deeply tanned skin and hands roughened by years of labor, would say. "Life isn't about luxury, it's about survival." "I know, Father," I'd reply, though the frustration bubbled beneath my calm exterior. "But I just can't see myself doing this forever. There's got to be more to life than this." My mother, a gentle woman with kind eyes and a soft voice, often tried to mediate. "He's young, dear," she'd say to my father. "He needs to find his own way." But my father would shake his head. Finding his own way shouldn't mean abandoning his roots. One evening, as we sat around the worn wooden table for dinner, I mustered the courage to announce my decision. My heart pounded in my chest, and my palms were sweaty, but I was resolute. "Father, Mother," I began, my voice steadier than I felt, "I've decided to leave. I'm going to the city to find a better life." The clatter of my father's fork hitting his plate echoed in the sudden silence. He stared at me, his eyes a mix of disbelief and hurt. "Are you sure about this, James? The city is a tough place. Life there isn't as easy as you think." "I've thought about it a lot," I said, meeting his gaze. "I need to do this for myself. I need to see what else is out there." Tears welled up in my mother's eyes. "James, we just want what's best for you. But if you really believe this is what you need to do, then we won't stop you." My father's face softened slightly, though his eyes remained troubled. "If this is truly what you want, then go. But remember, the city won't be kind to you. Don't let your dreams blind you to the realities you'll face." With a mixture of fear and hope, I packed my bags the next morning. As I stood at the edge of our farm, looking back at the only home I'd ever known, my father approached me. "Take care, son," he said, his voice gruff but with an underlying tenderness. "And remember, you always have a home here if you need it." "I will, Father," I replied, feeling a lump form in my throat. "Thank you for everything." My mother hugged me tightly, her tears dampening my shirt. "Be safe, James. And write to us often." "I will, Mother. I promise." With that, I turned and began my journey to the city, the place I believed held the key to my dreams. The bustling streets, the towering buildings, and the constant activity overwhelmed me at first. I was a small-town boy in a big city, dazzled by the lights and the endless possibilities. But reality set in quickly. Without professional experience or connections, finding a job was a struggle. I walked from office to office, enduring rejection after rejection. Each failed interview chipped away at my hope for an easier life. One afternoon, as I wandered the streets feeling dejected, I came across a construction site. Desperation drove me to approach the foreman, a burly man with a stern expression. "Excuse me, sir," I said, trying to sound confident. "I'm looking for work. Do you have any openings for a bricklayer's assistant?" The foreman looked me up and down, his eyes narrowing. "You ever worked a day in your life, kid?" "Yes, sir," I lied. "I'm from the countryside. I've done plenty of hard labor." He seemed to consider this for a moment before nodding. "All right, I'll give you a chance. But know this, the work here is tough and requires dedication." "Thank you, sir. I won't let you down," I said, feeling a glimmer of hope. The next day, I started working. The labor was intense, and my lack of experience quickly became apparent. My colleagues noticed my struggles and began to mock me. "Hey, James," one of them sneered. "Looks like you've never picked up a shovel in your life." Another chimed in, "Did you just sleep in the countryside?" I tried to ignore the comments, but they cut deep. Each day dragged on, filled with physical exhaustion and a growing sense of failure. The city life I had dreamed of seemed further away with every passing hour. But even as my spirits waned, I clung to the hope that things would get better, that my perseverance would eventually pay off. Little did I know, the path I was about to take would lead me into even deeper turmoil. The weeks turned into months, and the city's initial allure began to fade as I settled into the harsh reality of my new life. The construction job paid barely enough to cover my rent in a rundown apartment, let alone provide any of the luxuries I had dreamed of. My days were consumed by backbreaking labor, and my nights were haunted by the realization that I was no closer to my aspirations than when I had left the countryside. Then one evening, while flipping through an old newspaper I had picked up to line the floor of my apartment, a headline caught my eye: Anna Chandler, widow of real estate mogul, attends charity gala. A photograph of Anna accompanied the article, showing her in an elegant gown, her expression a mixture of grace and sorrow. As I read about her life and the recent loss of her husband, an idea began to form in my mind, a scheme that, if successful, could finally secure the life of ease and luxury I had always desired. For the next few days, I immersed myself in Anna's world. I spent my last few savings on elegant clothes from second-hand boutiques, rented a luxury car for a week, and created a fake social media profile filled with photos of trips to exotic locations and high-end events. I meticulously crafted my new identity, James Weston, a successful entrepreneur in the real estate business. I began to frequent the same places Anna was known to visit: art galleries, fine restaurants, and high society parties. It wasn't long before our paths crossed at an exclusive charity auction. Dressed in a tailored suit and with a confidence born of desperation, I approached her. "Good evening, ma'am. Forgive my boldness, but I couldn't help but notice your elegance and beauty," I said, extending my hand. "My name is James Weston, a successful entrepreneur in the real estate business." Anna turned to face me, her eyes bright with curiosity and a hint of amusement. "Good evening, James. I am flattered by your compliments. My name is Anna Chandler. It's a pleasure to meet you." "The pleasure is mine, Anna," I replied smoothly, noting the spark of interest in her eyes. Over the following weeks, I used every ounce of charm and fabricated success to win Anna over. I sent her flowers, took her to the finest restaurants, and dazzled her with stories of my supposed business achievements. Our connection grew stronger, and soon we were spending most of our evenings together. One night, during a romantic dinner at a rooftop restaurant overlooking the city, I decided it was time to take the next step in my plan. "Anna, my love," I began, reaching across the table to take her hand. "I've been thinking a lot about your company. I believe I could help you run it, bring in some fresh ideas and perspectives. My experience in real estate could be invaluable." Anna looked at me, her expression thoughtful. "James, I appreciate your offer. But are you sure? Running a company is a huge responsibility." "I'm certain," I said confidently. "Together, we can make it even more successful than it already is. I just want to support you in any way I can." Touched by my apparent sincerity, Anna smiled and squeezed my hand. "All right, James. I trust you. Let's do it together." With that, I gained direct access to Anna Chandler's company. Over the next few months, I carefully executed my plan to siphon money into hidden accounts. I made sure to cover my tracks meticulously, altering financial records and forging documents. To Anna, I was the perfect partner, loving, supportive, and deeply invested in our shared future. But my greed led me to take greater risks. I began to indulge in a lavish lifestyle, buying expensive clothes, dining at the finest restaurants, and even renting a penthouse apartment. I also started seeing other women, confident that Anna would never suspect me. One afternoon, as I was preparing for a meeting, Anna's friend Sophia approached her with a concerned look on her face. "Anna, I need to talk to you about James," Sophia said, her tone serious. Anna looked up from her desk, frowning slightly. "What about him, Sophia?" "I've heard some troubling things. There are rumors that he's not who he says he is, and I've noticed some strange discrepancies in the company's finances," Sophia explained. Anna's expression hardened. "Sophia, I appreciate your concern, but James is a wonderful man. He's been nothing but supportive and dedicated." "I don't believe in gossip." "Anna, please, just be careful," Sophia insisted. "I care about you, and I don't want to see you get hurt." "I know you do, Sophia. But I trust James," Anna replied firmly. "Thank you for looking out for me, but I can handle this." Despite Sophia's warnings, Anna remained blind to my deceit. Our marriage was a simple ceremony, filled with love and joy, but the thefts and betrayals continued unabated. Each day, I grew bolder, convinced that I was invincible. However, my reckless behavior eventually drew the attention of Hubert, Anna's family friend and lawyer. He began to scrutinize the company's finances and my background. The day I saw him speaking with Anna, I felt a chill of unease, but I dismissed it, confident in my ability to talk my way out of any situation. Little did I know, the walls of my carefully constructed facade were beginning to crumble. The weeks following my integration into Anna's company were a whirlwind of calculated moves and covert embezzlement. My life seemed like a dream. I had money, status, and a beautiful wife who adored me. Yet, beneath this facade, my actions were growing increasingly reckless. One evening, after a particularly extravagant dinner party, I found myself alone on the balcony of our penthouse, looking out over the city lights. The thrill of deceit had turned into a dangerous game, but I reveled in it. I didn't notice Anna quietly stepping out to join me until she spoke. "James, you've been working so hard," she said softly, her voice filled with admiration. "I'm so proud of everything you've done for us." I turned to face her, a charming smile plastered on my face. "Anything for you, my love. I just want to ensure our future is secure." She smiled back, her eyes shining with trust and affection. "I know. And I'm grateful for everything. I love you, James." "I love you too, Anna," I replied, though the words felt hollow in my mouth. Despite the affection between us, my nights were filled with secret rendezvous and illicit affairs. I had become adept at hiding my tracks, confident that Anna would never discover my betrayals. But I was unaware that Hubert, Anna's loyal lawyer, was diligently unraveling the web of lies I had spun. One afternoon, while I was at a high-end cafe, sipping an espresso and waiting for a woman I had met at a recent charity event, Hubert approached me. His expression was stern, his eyes cold. "James, we need to talk," he said, pulling up a chair without waiting for an invitation. I forced a smile, masking my annoyance. "Hubert, what a surprise. What can I do for you?" He leaned forward, his voice low and intense. "I've been looking into some discrepancies in the company's finances. And I've also uncovered some very disturbing information about you." My heart pounded, but I kept my composure. "I have no idea what you're talking about." Hubert's eyes bore into mine. "I know you've been embezzling money, James. And I know you're not who you claim to be. You've deceived Anna, and you've betrayed her trust. This ends now." I leaned back, trying to maintain an air of confidence. "These are serious accusations, Hubert. You better have proof to back them up." "Oh, I do," he replied, his tone icy. "And Anna will know everything very soon." I watched him leave, my mind racing. Panic began to set in, but I couldn't afford to show any weakness. I needed to act quickly to protect myself. That evening, Anna and I attended a grand gala, where I was to be honored for my supposed exemplary management of her company. The event was lavish, filled with influential personalities and opulent decorations. As the master of ceremonies called my name, I walked to the stage, my heart pounding with a mix of fear and anticipation. "Ladies and gentlemen, it is with great honor that we present this award to James for his excellent work in managing Anna's company," the master of ceremonies announced. I stepped forward to accept the trophy, my smile confident. But just as I reached out to take it, an audio recording began to play. My voice echoed through the hall, filled with disdain and scheming as I discussed my plans to siphon money and deceive Anna. The audience gasped in shock, and I froze, my heart sinking. Videos of my affairs began to project on the walls, each one more damning than the last. The atmosphere was thick with disbelief and betrayal. I turned to see Anna standing at the edge of the stage, her face pale and her eyes filled with tears. "Anna, I can explain," I stammered, stepping towards her. But she held up a hand, stopping me. "Save it, James. I've heard enough." With firm steps, she climbed onto the stage and took the microphone from the master of ceremonies. Her voice trembled but grew stronger with each word. "I believe that everyone here shares the same astonishment and disappointment that I feel as I unveil the true face of James. This man, whom we all believe to be honest and dignified, has hidden behind a mask of deceit and betrayal." At that moment, the police entered the hall, making their way through the stunned guests. They climbed onto the stage and handcuffed me, their grip firm and unyielding. The flashes of cameras from journalists covering the event blinded me as I was led away, the weight of my actions crashing down upon me. As I was shoved into the back of a police car, I caught one last glimpse of Anna. Her expression was a mixture of heartbreak and resolve. She had loved me, trusted me, and I had shattered that trust. Now, I was to face the consequences of my greed and deceit, my dreams of an easy life crumbling into dust. If you like this story, please subscribe, like, click the bell, and leave a comment. Thank you in advance.